Imagine if an Iowa girl from a small town suddenly became the center of attention when she stepped onto the court. The tale told by Caitlin Clark is that what comes next? Under her influence, the NBA has pleaded with television networks to pay $200 million for WNBA rights. What led us to this point? Clark's transformation from an unknown to an unstoppable force can be analyzed in detail. Do you desire scoring records? Similar to breaking glass, Clark shattered them. She broke the record for most points scored in men's and women's NCAA division-wide basketball history. Do you think that's true? A girl from a small town in Iowa managed to score more than Kelsey Plum and Pete Maravich. It was about more than simply the figures, though. Uncanny as it may seem, Clark could make seemingly impossible shots look effortless. Do you recall the logo three-pointer that was made in the Elite Eight game against Louisville, the one where it seemed like she was almost in the parking lot, and not only was that shot the game winner, it also crashed the web? We should discuss Clark's meteoric rise to fame on social media while we're on the topic of shattering the internet. Even in a small town, word of her highlight reels spread like wildfire. She was making a half-court buzzer beater the other minute. 1 minute, her video has millions of views and becomes a Twitter trend. You may be wondering, all right, but a lot of players become famous. The fame that Clark enjoyed wasn't fleeting, though. It resulted in tangible, quantifiable effects. 3 to 4 times as many people were tuning into her games as the typical WNBA fan. That's revolutionary, not to mention astounding. Put it in your mind, can you remember the last time there was a scuffle over tickets to a college basketball game featuring women? Arenas were selling out like hotcakes when Clark was on the court. Not only that, but it was nationwide. It was as if a rock star had rolled into town whenever she performed live. What makes Clark so special, you may be asking? Though her skill is absolutely phenomenal, that isn't the only factor. It's just how she plays. Her fearless and unfiltered approach is truly captivating to observe. She can be effortlessly navigating an impossible pass one moment and pulling up from downtown the next. Her next move will be absolutely breathtaking, but you can never predict her moves. Things start to heat up from here. People are shifting their perspective on women's basketball as a whole thanks to Clark's meteoric rise to fame. People who previously didn't care about women's hoops are now paying attention. Their purchase includes jerseys. They can't stop raving about the game the following day at work. The NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, went so far as to admit that Clark was influential. His main point is that this girl is revolutionizing something. We must be vigilant, and they paid close attention. In an effort to boost the WNBA's profile, the NBA began to press for larger contracts and more extensive media coverage. There's no doubt that Caitlin Clark has risen to superstardom, but did you know that in addition to that, she's resolving an issue that the WNBA has been facing for a long time? It's true that the league has always had trouble attracting viewers and maintaining financial autonomy. It has nothing to do with a lack of skill or entertaining activities. Despite having some of the world's top athletes on their team, the WNBA failed to attract viewers. Let's dissect it. Clark helped increase the WNBA's media rights deal from $60 million to $70 million annually. While that may seem like a lot on paper, it's actually quite small change when you're talking about professional sports. Consider the NBA's media deal in context. It's worth billions. The WNBA was hardly making ends meet. Why is this considered such a minor matter? Viewership is the ultimate determinant, you know? The average number of viewers for WNBA games was a meager 200K to 400K. TV networks aren't exactly lining up to shell out cash for those kinds of numbers. The classic chicken or the egg dilemma is at play here. If the league wanted to increase its viewership, it needed more publicity, but in order to get better television deals, it needed a larger audience. Thus, what transpired? In what ways did Clark's fame affect the league's financial line? Remember how we said that 3 to 4 times as many people watch Clark's games as the typical WNBA game? That's groundbreaking, not to mention entertaining. The television networks had an epiphany when they realized that women's basketball had a huge untapped viewership. All they needed was the perfect star to lure them in. What about Clark? There's more to her than that. She's incredible. Things are about to heat up now. Clark has ensured that her newly formed WNBA team, the Indiana Fever, will receive unprecedented national television coverage. Are you kidding me? They've already secured national television broadcasts for 36 of the 40 games in the regular season. It's more than just an increase in coverage. A dramatic change has occurred. Consider the implications of this. Out of nowhere, Clark's game will attract millions of viewers who may have never turned on a WNBA game before. Plus, after they start watching, they might realize what a great league it is. Although the fever is certainly a factor. Everyone is riding high thanks to Clark's fame. The spotlight is also shining on other teams. Because of what is known as the Clark effect, the entire league is doing better. More than just television ratings are at stake. Interactions on social media have skyrocketed. The sales of merchandise are through the roof. This event is selling out. All of a sudden, everyone noticed how thrilling women's basketball could be, as if Clark had flicked a switch. You may be asking, alright, but will this boost last forever? When the initial excitement fades, what follows? It's an understandable concern. Clark isn't attracting casual viewers, though. Here's the thing, she's winning over devoted admirers. The breathtaking athleticism, the heart-pounding games, and the genuine passion for the sport are what keep viewers tuning in, not just to see Clark. The WNBA has longed for this level of publicity for a long time. It's about introducing a new audience to the entire league, not just one player. And once individuals experience it for themselves, they can't get enough. Do you recall our discussion of Clark's effect on audience size? And that was merely the warm-up. The National Basketball Association is now taking action, and they aren't joking. For the WNBA's media rights, they're asking $200 million. Doubt it, $200 million. Do you think it's real? That deal is 3 times as good as the one before. This isn't about a little bump. This is a huge step that might alter the WNBA's trajectory forever. How come it's such a huge leap? Ultimately, Clark's star power determines everything. The NBA realized they were sitting on a gold mine when they saw the viewership numbers. It was clear to them that Clark wasn't a passing fad. She was drawing in an audience, making waves, and, most importantly, demonstrating that women's basketball has a sizable fan base. My question is this: okay, but why is the NBA pushing for this? Let me tell you, things start to heat up now. The National Basketball Association isn't doing nothing. They're fighting tooth and nail to protect the WNBA's bank account. Upon receiving an initial offer of $125 million from the Endeavor Group, the NBA did more than simply acknowledge and express gratitude. No, not enough, they remarked after reviewing the offer. The WNBA's value was obvious, and they weren't hesitant to ask for it. It makes me think of something, don't you? It's the same as when someone offers you a pitiful amount for your used car. However, your friend who is an expert on cars intervenes and tells you, no way, this baby's worth way more than that. So you don't have to accept it. For the WNBA, that is currently the action being taken by the NBA. The deal's true meat isn't monetary considerations, though. Preserving the WNBA for the long haul is the goal. The potential duration of the agreement is 2026, 2036. It's a full 10 years of financial security and opportunity for advancement. Evaluate the potential implications for the league. Additional funding for the improvement of players, superior infrastructure, enhanced allocations for advertising, having the capacity to entice world-class talent. This is a major turning point, not merely a payday. Who spoke it more eloquently, though? Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA. Clark's influence on the league is something he has spoken about at length, saying something along the lines of, hey, we've got something special here and we need to capitalize on it, are his main points. However, let's not pretend for a moment. This goes beyond Caitlin Clark alone. Even though she's the one who started it all, this deal is really about the WNBA as a whole being valued. The point is to recognize that women's basketball is deserving of such a significant amount of funding and focus. What does this mean for the players? Is a natural question to ask. Right now, put yourself in the shoes of a little girl who is shooting hoops in your driveway. If this deal goes through, your current salary could be triple or quadruple what it is when you're ready to play in the WNBA. That would have a revolutionary effect on the whole sport, not just on the players' lives. Okay, so let's dive into the implications of this $200 million deal for women's basketball. We're not merely referring to a few top players getting a raise. The whole sport may be altered by this. Okay, let's start with the money. A major shift is about to occur regarding the long-standing issue of underpayment for WNBA players. Salaries for players may increase by a factor of 3 or 4 as a result of this new agreement. What if your annual income increased from $100,000 to $400,000? All of a sudden, there's money that can change your life. The players currently in the league are important, but they are far from the only ones. Just picture all the little girls who are probably shooting hoops in their driveways right now. Being a professional basketball player is now more than just a pipe dream. It's a real possibility. We're talking about making a living wage, buying a house, and putting money away for retirement, all while enjoying the game you adore. You may be asking, alright, but will this genuinely improve the games? Sure thing. The WNBA can recruit and retain better players with higher salaries, leave player emigration to foreign leagues as a source of financial stress, a thing of the past. All of these top players are in the same league, and we're talking about them, and it's not enough to merely retain talent. Cultivating it is of equal importance. Better training facilities, more sophisticated coaching, and enhanced player development programs are all possible with more funding. Even with these additional resources, the WNBA already boasts an exceptionally high level of play. But now things start to heat up. Basketball isn't the only thing here. All women's sports may feel the reverberations of this deal. Why shouldn't women's soccer follow the WNBA's lead? And what about hockey, perhaps tennis? This might set off a chain reaction. The outcome of this will be closely observed by other leagues. Similar deals might start cropping up everywhere if this one is successful, and with Caitlin Clark at the helm, how could it not be? The monetary aspect is just one consideration. Everything boils down to respect. The point is to be acknowledged. The goal is to say, hey, women's sports are just as exciting, just as competitive, and just as worthy of attention as men's sports. A clear message is being conveyed by this deal. Women's basketball is important. We fans need to discuss the implications of this now. The Women's Basketball League is entering a heyday. More television games, higher quality output, stakes are higher, disputes become more heated. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Plus, we get to participate, which is the best part. When we watch, when we buy tickets, when we back these athletes, we're doing more than just watching history. With your help, we can make it. It is humorous, you know. Who could have predicted a couple of years ago that the WNBA would be negotiating a $200 million deal? The world has seen how thrilling women's basketball can be thanks to players like Caitlin Clark, and now here we are.